Imagine a seed buried beneath the soil. For weeks, nothing happens. The surface remains silent, untouched. But beneath, invisible transformations are unfolding. Pressure, cracking, awakening. That's what happens inside a man who commits to retention beyond the first storms. What begins as control over desire becomes a process of alchemy. You're no longer just resisting, you're restructuring. The butterfly effect doesn't end with attraction. That was only the first wave. The real transformation begins when your energy stops leaking outward and starts circulating inward. Your body becomes an ecosystem of renewal. Your mind clears, your emotions stabilize, and a new intelligence begins to rise from within you. It's not intellectual, it's instinctive, almost ancient. As weeks turn to months, the same force that once drove lust now fuels vision. The same urge that once sought release begins to express itself as purpose. You start noticing that your thoughts are sharper, more decisive. You no longer drift through life reacting. You create direction. That is the hidden butterfly effect. Small acts of discipline spiraling into a complete rewiring of destiny. Retention transforms time. When you release constantly, every day feels repetitive. A blur of short-lived highs followed by dull lows. But when you retain, each day becomes heavier with meaning. Hours stretch, moments deepen, and your awareness begins to fold inward. You start sensing how the smallest choice ripples into your future. What you say, what you eat, how you move, how you think, everything gains consequence. That awareness changes your relationship with life itself. You stop living as a consumer of pleasure and start living as a cultivator of energy. Every moment becomes an investment. You realize that your seed is not just physical, it's symbolic. It represents life force, the same current that builds empires, writes symphonies, and creates new worlds. When you withhold that current, you're not depriving yourself, you're storing thunder. And that thunder eventually needs expression. Some men express it through creativity. They start painting, writing, building, leading. Others channel it through their voice, speaking with power that wasn't there before. Some simply radiate it through stillness. Their presence becomes enough. Whatever the outlet, the outcome is the same: transformation. You become a vessel through which raw energy refines into art, order, and purpose. But this journey isn't linear. The butterfly effect is chaotic by nature. You'll have days where your confidence feels like steel, and others where the storm tests your patience. You'll experience surges of energy that make you feel unstoppable, followed by moments of deep quiet where you question everything. These oscillations aren't failure, they're metamorphosis. Every fluctuation is your nervous system recalibrating to handle more voltage. As your energy compounds, your intuition strengthens. You begin to sense outcomes before they unfold. You know when to act and when to stay silent. You start reading people effortlessly, their motives, their insecurities, their masks. It's as if retention turns down the static noise of the world, so you can finally hear the signal beneath it. That signal is what the ancients called spirit, the inner guide that modern men have forgotten. When your sexual energy stops scattering outward, it rises upward, activating perception that can't be learned from books. You see through illusions of status, lust, and approval. You recognize that true power isn't in being desired, but in being self-contained. The man who needs nothing becomes magnetic to everything. At this stage, your energy begins to alter not just how people see you, but how reality interacts with you. Synchronicities start appearing. The right opportunities, people, and paths begin aligning without struggle. This is not magic or coincidence. its resonance. Your inner state is so stable that external reality organizes itself around it. That's the advanced butterfly effect. Consciousness bending probability. It's why ancient masters treated semen as sacred. They understood that when you protect the creative essence, it sharpens the connection between thought and manifestation. The mind becomes a forge, and intention becomes a spark. You start realizing how powerful your attention is. Whatever you focus on expands. If you dwell on fear, life gives you reasons to fear. But when you focus on purpose and gratitude, the universe bends to amplify it. Retention also redefines pleasure. You stop chasing shallow highs because you've discovered a deeper form of satisfaction, peace. Not boredom, not numbness, genuine contentment that comes from mastery. You begin to enjoy silence. You start finding pleasure in discipline, beauty in simplicity, joy in small victories. That shift alone separates you from the masses. Because the majority chase stimulation, you cultivate serenity, and serenity is the highest form of strength. A man who can stay calm in chaos can control any room he enters. A man who can delay gratification can achieve what others only dream of. A man who can face desire without surrendering to it becomes a mirror in which others see their own weakness and their potential. But here's the paradox. The more power you build, the more humility you gain. You stop needing to prove anything. You stop trying to dominate or impress. You move through the world like a quiet storm, invisible until needed, unstoppable when unleashed. You begin to embody what ancient warriors called nobility of presence, the calm assurance of a man aligned with his higher purpose. As your streak continues, your dreams sharpen. Your goals no longer feel distant. They start breathing with you. You wake up earlier without forcing it. You move with discipline without resentment. You speak with authority without aggression. This is the moment where retention transcends biology and becomes spirituality. You're no longer just holding seed, you're holding destiny. It's the same principle seen in nature. The longer energy remains contained, the more potent it becomes when released. Rivers form canyons not by rushing, but by persistence. Stars ignite not instantly, but through eons of pressure. Likewise, your energy, when restrained and refined, reaches a critical mass. And when directed toward creation, it reshapes everything it touches. This is why women sense something sacred in a retained man. It's not just hormones or confidence, it's frequency. You vibrate at a different bandwidth. You no longer emit the signal of need, but of fullness. You've become a living source, and sources attract seekers. This isn't manipulation, it's natural law. The feminine is drawn to stability, to fire that doesn't flicker. But your mission isn't to use this energy for conquest. The goal is transcendence, to turn lust into love, desire into direction, chaos into creation. Retention teaches that true masculinity isn't repression, but mastery. It's learning to dance with your primal fire without letting it burn you. When you reach this point, every woman you meet, every challenge you face, becomes part of your refinement. You stop reacting and start responding from a place of grounded power. Eventually, the butterfly effect comes full circle. The small, invisible decision to retain, to choose restraint over release, has now altered everything. Your body, your emotions, your perception, your destiny. You see that semen retention was never about semen. It was about sovereignty, about proving that your will can rule over your impulses, that discipline can outshine desire. You've become the man who no longer needs to control the storm, because you are the storm. Every step you take ripples through reality, shaping futures unseen. You've tapped into the ancient truth that energy, once mastered, becomes identity. And that is the final butterfly effect, the awakening of the divine masculine. Not through force, but through alignment. Not through chaos, but through conscious power. The world bends to the man who bends himself first. So continue your journey. Refine your energy. Guard your seed. Because somewhere, unseen, your smallest act of discipline is rewriting your entire destiny. If you made it until here, leave a crown emoji in the comments. I appreciate you a lot for staying locked in. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, live with honor or die a coward. Take care.